ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever since. I think the things I like the most about the ISCA is it's a developmental league, but it's also a league that's got some veteran drivers. And I think really what I was looking to do was try to surround myself with some people to better my talent, my skill, and my craft. And that's one thing the ISCA has really delivered. It's got great quality drivers. You learn how to race in close quarters around some of these other people. And I think the other thing, when you do look at the developmental side, you know, once I joined the ISCA, my I rating has soared, my safety rating is better than it's ever been. And it's also really great to see drivers that join our league, you know, really excel over time, some of which stay with the league and some that maybe move on to some bigger things, which is really exciting. We have a great history of developing drivers. We have a great alumni list. But I just really enjoy, you know, participating in the league and just continue to get better each week that goes by. Yeah, the competition in the ISCA is awesome. I think a lot of us talk about it, you know, each week of just how blessed we are to have such a high level of driving capabilities and just a quality group of drivers overall. And I think that's just still, I think the thing I like the most about the ISCA. You build a lot of friendships, a lot of camaraderie. You know, we're really competitive on Thursday and Saturday nights, but it's really fun also after the race to kind of review the race start to finish. And we do a lot of coaching about what's working, what's not working. Not saying we give away all of our secrets, but I think anyone that joins it, there's a common theme. A, you know, they get better each week, their I rating goes up. We see them in strength of field races over time, you know, week in, week out. And that's just something that's really fun. Even though we compete, we really appreciate the league we participate in. And I think in most cases, we're highly competitive with some of the best and cleanest drivers on the service. And if you like long green flag runs, you know, we don't have a lot of cautions in our races. We tend to have green flag pit stops. But those are just some things that I really enjoy about the league the most, is the quality of the competition, the lack of cautions, and just the long runs that really leads to some really awesome racing. Yeah, I think people that should join the ISCA are people like myself. When I go back a few years ago and I was really looking to up my game and get involved in open setup league racing, you know, for so long I just wasn't involved in that because I just didn't, well, I didn't seek it out, but I really didn't also know how to get started. And once I started doing research, it was a really easy choice that the ICA was a place I really wanted to be and get involved with. And all those things I talked about earlier have happened to me, you know, from improving I rating, improving my skill. And, you know, I'm someone that I really enjoy the ICA. I'll probably stay there, but don't think that, you know, if you're coming to the ICA that it's something long-term. That in some cases you can find a long-term home like a lot of us, but we develop drivers, and ultimately we'd like to see our drivers participate for a period of time and hopefully move their way up the ranks, whether that be into Road to Pro or Contender Series, or hopefully get to the Coke Series. That's really the goal of what we want to be, is an established league with great drivers, but also a league that's going to develop drivers into bigger and better things.
Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Thursday Super Cup Series. So happy to be here this lovely Thursday night. We hope that everybody has a lovely Easter holiday weekend, but we are going to get dirty here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, as I mentioned, this is the ISCA Thursday Super Cup Series, and it is time to get dirty. A lot of these drivers definitely have been primed to practice for a long time. Everybody showed pretty much up here as soon as the session opened to get as much time in as they could. Of course, the track has worn out quite a bit since that practice time has gone on. Of course, hopefully we'll have a track reset. That way these guys won't have to be in the slick for too much. Of course, we will be doing 156 laps here tonight around this half-mile dirt track. Of course, the dirt version of Bristol Motor Speedway. It has been very, very tricky. Lots of guys with varying different setups and, of course, trying to tackle this dirt. I mean, this is not an easy thing. A lot of times it's very counterintuitive to what you deal with on the asphalt like we did at Richmond last week. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and I'm joined in the booth, I do believe, by Big Al. How you doing tonight, Big Al? All righty, well, looks like he's busy at the moment, but at the moment, Brandon Pasalacqua at the top of the board as we are in the midst of qualifying, taking a look at the race fact. And it looks like, as I mentioned before, 156 laps here for the Sugarlands Distilling Co. 156. Stages are 30 and 70. 4 sets of tires going to be down in the pits. 150 laps is the fuel window. So fuel shouldn't be too much of an issue here tonight, especially during the pace laps of the stages. These guys should be able to save that much for sure. But tires are also not going to be that big of a deal. Most of the time when it comes to dirt tracks, the track actually wears more than the tires do. And that is going to be the thing that these guys are really going to have to try to navigate and improvise on when it comes to, figuring out how to get better and change adapt to how the racetrack wears. Going to be very interesting indeed to see how these guys tackle that. It's going to be none other than like anything we've seen pretty much all season or seasons past. We've seen only Bristol Dirt come up I do believe, just a couple times in the ISCA history. So I'm excited to see what it's going to look like for sure.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the second time that we've actually ran Bristol Dirt.
Good to have you there joining us, Big Al. I tried to introduce you. You didn't respond. I'm glad to have you, though.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, ATVO.
Well, we're glad to have you. Nonetheless, it seems like that is always a problem. I know they recently actually had an update to ATVO. I was hoping that would fix some of the issues, but nonetheless, time to get some action going. Brandon Pasalacqua, he was the fastest in practice, and he was able to hit a 18.7, which is very, very quick around this dirt track. Of course, Brian Johnson looks like he's not too much slower, but I think it's all going to be about how you adapt as the race goes on. I think that's going to be the big thing. Not, maybe being the fastest is not as important as it is by, your ability to adapt to the track changing. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And with dirt track racing, the track is going to be the one thing that the drivers are definitely going to have to watch out for as this thing progresses. Like you said earlier, it's almost going to turn into an asphalt track. It's going to start to pick up characteristics of that. Don't know how they've actually, worked it with the damage model, but can't wait to see how it plays out here.
Well, I know we just actually had an update, if I'm not mistaken, today that has updated that damage model, and I actually saw on the race cars pieces of their cars falling off when they hit stuff. So that's going to be interesting to note as well. Could that cause damage to other race cars if they run that over? And one thing that's a big characteristics about these tracks right here, dirt tracks, is getting on the brakes is not really an option, Big Al. If you see someone wrecking in front of you, you brake, you're going right. You're going to be sliding right around, and you have to commit to the line you're already taking.
Yeah, you just got to steer. I mean, that's going to be the key to it. Just understanding where the other drivers are at in proximity to oneself.
100%. Well, with that, I think now is the time. Qualifying is wrapping up. Let's take a break and play our national anthem and then pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back with our starting grid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's regular the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The night time is the right time. Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there, pull those belts tight. One more time. Drivers, start your engines.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten. If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we got the grid set, and lap times from Brandon Passalacqua not as quick as he was in practice. I'm wondering if the track is still worn out from all that practicing and it carried over into this session. If that is the case, this is going to be a very tricky race for these drivers. Brandon Passalacqua, though, at the top of the board with a 19.466. Brian Johnson qualifies in second place. Third place going to be Corey Saucier. Fourth place, of course, Jose Acosta. Fifth place, Josh Schaffner. Sixth place, Scott Naslin. Seventh place, Chris Johnson. Eighth place, J.C. Evans. Ninth, Kenny Powell. And I do believe rounding out our top 10 is Randy Mullins.
That's going to put Greg Wachinski in 11th with Mark Sanchez 12th. Alexander Carr starts off in 13th. Ron Strunk 14th. Next row is Matt DeCiani with Paul Osen in 16th. Al Koslowski starting off in 17th, Greg Carr 18th, and Derek Jacobs rounds out this 19-car field.
Definitely a nice size field here for tonight's action here around Bristol. This is going to be quite the tricky event, I'd say. So, I mean, I think we're going to see some accidents here tonight, Big Al. I mean, it's so hard to avoid accidents around this racetrack as well, considering what we mentioned before about hard to get on the brakes and change your lanes, especially when you see someone having an accident. A lot of times it's so hard to change direction mid-corner at a track like this.
Yeah, just got to drift it, baby.
Yeah, you just gotta. I think more like let Jesus take the wheel. Essentially, I mean, that's kind of your only thing you could really do when it comes to a wreck or anything like that on this track. I think we're gonna see quite a few pileups. I'm not sure if this is gonna be a big race of attrition, but I do believe it will. I mean, I know these cars are very hardy when it comes to taking damage. But I think that still they will reach their limits. Especially, I think we're going to get to test out this new damage model that they just released today.
Yeah, I can't wait. Excited to see what's going to happen once that green flag starts to flap and everybody gets out there and starts mixing it up a little bit. So, what are you? So it sounds like you're anticipating that we're going to have a lot of cautions here this evening.
I think we will, because I mean I've seen a lot of the A Opens. Haven't participated myself around Bristol Dirt because I'm not dumb enough to get out there. Not to say that people who race here are dumb, but I know for myself it is very difficult. Green flag is out for the first time. Great launch from Brian Johnson on the top. Look at that. He's going to try to slide around Brandon Passalacqua, and he's going to do it. Here comes Jose Acosta trying to get up on the top, but not quite able to get there. Corey Saucier side by side for the third position.
Yeah, Passalacqua had to get going just a little bit. He had to get into his rhythm, if you will. And now he has got his rhythm dialed in. Looks like he is off and away.
This is a
Jose Acosta.
Whoa, the 22 around.
Just really takes a hard shot there in the side.
That was Scott Naslin in that 22 machine. Definitely takes a hard shot, spins all the way around. Take a look back at this here. And I do believe possibly contact with Josh Schaffner, maybe. Here we go. See them fighting right now and see exactly how this kind of took place. You see Schaffner comes up to the back of Corey Saucier. Still side by side. He just got loose, and then the 99 came in and cleaned him out. Of course, nothing really the 99 could have done about that, really. I mean, the 22 just kind of lost it. Luckily, what shouldn't be too much damage on that 22. He looks okay. But he is going to lose a lot of spots because of that accident. I do believe he is now in 19th position. And as I was mentioning about the A Open, saw a lot of cautions watching those races. I mean, sometimes you've had more caution laps than there were race laps or green flag laps. So, this is going to be tricky. I think a lot of drivers are going to want it to go green, but it's going to be quite hard for that to be the case, just considering how much out of the comfort zone racing like this is for a lot of these drivers that are used to racing on the asphalt. But the show must go on. Brian Johnson, though, with a heck of a move to get that lead from Passalacqua, just shows the strength of the top line. And that's another thing that I've seen a lot in the official races as well, is if you can make that top line work, you're going to be cooking with gas. But as this track continues to wear, which it already is significantly worn out, you can see kind of the black slick pretty much on all surfaces of this racetrack. And I think that's really because of the practice session these guys had beforehand really wore this track out. And a lot of times you see, especially in the officials, the practice and qualifying, they kind of reset the track after that. But that was not the case here tonight. So that is going to mean that every bit of the practicing they did in practice is going to affect the actual race itself. So I bet some guys wish they hadn't practiced so much, because they wore a lot of ruts and made this track quite slick. And you talked about it behaving a lot like asphalt, right?
Yeah, and the problem is you want to hope that the track actually does get an even coating, because sometimes, Brian, that's not the case. So you find yourself slip, and then you're not slipping. You catch traction, and it just kind of may alter your perception of what's actually going on.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, it's so unpredictable when it comes to the dirt. You just kind of sail it in on faith in a lot of ways. And like you said, I mean, you'll be sideways, and then all of a sudden you'll catch gripping right up into the outside wall.
Yeah, you actually have a lot more control over the car than you're imagining, though.
Well, I know you do. I'm just saying, but for the uninitiated, the people that don't really know how to drive on dirt.
Jose Acosta coming straight down, chopped the nose off of the 50 of Josh Schaffner. Not sure what that was about.
Yeah, this is a place that is very easy to get some sort of retaliation if you're upset with somebody. All it takes is like a little bitty bump, and that person is flying right around and doing some 360s, but it looks like Jose has gotten that 4th position secured. Brian Johnson. Oh, look at that slide job from Josh Schaffner. What a move from the 50 up to 4th now. As here comes Chris Johnson. He's going to see if he can't do something, and the yellow flag is back out. Not sure how the caution came out there. I would maybe assume Al Kozlowski, maybe? Yeah, Al Kozlowski, I do believe. You see Al Kozlowski kind of coming into a mess there with, I do believe, the 22 and the 25. The 25 kind of initiates all this. Let's take a look at him. See, the 25 kind of sails it in, and I think he got side by side. Oh, no. Paul Olson got loose right in front of the 25. And a 3-car stack up there blocking almost the whole track. I'll tell you what, race control is going to have a time after this race, Big Al, because, you know, a lot of times in the ISCA, they spend, an hour or so after the race going over all the incidents and kind of, giving penalties and things like that, But one thing is about it, it's going to be difficult to judge penalties here at this racetrack because, I mean, a lot of the things, you get loose isn't necessarily your fault. I mean, it's so difficult to drive around this track.
100% it is your fault. You have to be in control of your vehicle at all times. It's not that difficult to do this. And if these guys have had ample time to practice, this is not, meaning Bristol dirt has been out for a while. It's one of the tracks you can set up and do a solo configuration, or you can even go in and race against bots. But yeah, I don't think anybody has an excuse for showing up not actually able to race here tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have ample opportunity to kind of get used to the race car. But, I mean, I'm telling you, even if I had hours and hours and hours of practice here at Bristol Dirt, I still would struggle. I mean, it is so difficult, especially with the track being as worn as it is and as slick as it is. But, yeah, I definitely can understand what you're saying. And I'm just saying it's going to be very difficult for, you to look at an accident and tell exactly whose fault it is because everybody's kind of always loose around this track. But already we've had our second caution. Brian Johnson still in the lead of the field. And we have a lot of different, I'd say, skill levels out here on the racetrack when it comes to their dirt I rating. Of course, a lot of these guys have, 3, 4, 5,000 asphalt I rating. That is not the case in their dirt I ratings. Taking a look right now, I do believe at Josh Schaffner. I want to see, because he supposedly has a pretty good I rating. Well, on 1,600, not the best, but from what he said, he was proud of his dirt I rating. So he's proud of 1,600. The green flag is back out. As Brian Johnson gets a heck of a restart. Jose Acosta up to the back end of the 50, gives him a little tap.
Yeah, those two definitely on in 77. Ryan Strunk hard into the wall. The 18 was trying to avoid him, and they're stacking up like flapjacks on the backstretch.
Yet another caution's out. Heavy damage on the front end of Matt DeCiani. Might as well just go ahead and get rid of it. I told you this was going to be like this.
Look, the flag man's going to look like Lou Ferrigno, at least on that right side here before this night's over. He's going to have Popeye on one side and Urkel on the other.
Yeah, you're right about that. He's going to definitely get some use out of that arm as we take a look back from the 18 of Alexander Carr. As I think, like you said, I think he was reacting to the 77 hitting the wall. As they go green right here. This is the replay, of course. And essentially right on the start, I do believe. Yeah, there's 77 and Kenny Powell get involved. And Alexander Carr tries to take evasive maneuvers. Let's look at the 24 here from this accident, or the 77. This is kind of when it all kicks off. You see Kenny Powell just comes in and cleans out the 77. Nothing really Strunk could have done here. And unfortunately, wow, look at the impact on Matt DeCiani's front end. Man, that was an accident and a half. Yeah, like you said, go ahead and prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, for that caution flag to fly multiple times here tonight. Is, of course, stage 1 will be in the books on lap 30. 77, voice showing his displeasure to the 24 on the racetrack. He is not happy with the 24 of Kenny Powell. And you got to keep in mind as well, next week we head to Martinsville. So that is going to be a track to where I think if you have any grudges or anything like that from this race here tonight, that could transfer over there to Martinsville. But Brian Johnson still leads with Brandon Pasalacqua in second. Corey Saucier sits in third. Josh Schaffner, of course, has been racing with Jose Acosta. They sit in fourth and fifth at the moment. I'd say it's even hard to pace around this racetrack. But, you know, and I've been one of the detractors about these guys putting dirt on this racetrack. But I was told the other night, you know, something that made a lot of sense to me, that made me kind of switch my thought process on this. A lot of the local guys, you know, around in the surrounding area in Bristol and in Tennessee, come and from all over the country come to race in the, I do believe, the late model nationals and stuff like that. So there is other things going on rather than just a NASCAR race. That brings a whole lot of money and it helps a lot. It's a big honor for these drivers to be able to come out there and compete in the real life racing. And there's the green flag out. Brian Johnson once again with a good start, but Brandon Pasalacqua almost able to keep it side by side. Not quite, though. I think what he's trying to do really is take that line away from Brian Johnson, see if he can't get the kind of start that Johnson got on the initial green flag. But what awesome racing this is. Side by side, they're drifting. Absolutely love to see it. Greg Wachinski trying to work through his way through the field, trying to get up to the top five. He drives underneath Josh Schaffner, and it's going to move up into fifth. You see Ryan Strunk side by side with J.C. Evans at the moment, trying to go now side by side with Chris Johnson. Oh, Greg Wachinski with some issues, 3 wide. Wachinski with a big moment there, was able to save it. 3 wide once again, and more contact. Whoa, that was close. Here comes Kenny Powell. He's going to try to get through, and Kenny Powell and the 5 of Wachinski touch. Powell moves up to 9th. Al Kozlowski, of course, was struggling a little bit, I do believe, earlier in the race. He's a person that is a self-proclaimed dirt track racer. So wouldn't be surprised to see him have some success. Oh, there goes Greg Wachinski and Scott Naslin into one another. Randy Mullen is now trying to get by Al Kozlowski. So much going on at the moment. It's hard to keep up. Racing all over this racetrack, as you see Matt DeCiani, even with the front end damage, trying to work his way up through the field. But Brandon Pasalacqua has gotten by Brian Johnson. Big moment for Pasalacqua. Brian Johnson having to take evasive maneuvers. These guys are throwing it into these corners. With the track being as slick as it is, it's very difficult to control the race car. But Brandon Pasalacqua trying to run the top side. And, of course, as these guys run this track and wear it out, that's going to be the place to be. As you see the burn, as we've heard it called, up there on the top of the racetrack. But Brian Johnson has moved up to the top spot once again. Of course, Jose Acosta now in 4th, trying to see if he can't run away from Ryan Strunk, who has moved up into the 5th spot. I know Josh Schaffner, also one that says he really prides himself on being a good dirt racer. Anytime he goes to week 13 in the iRacing season, that's when they have kind of the wacky shows. He loves to race in those big block modifieds. So definitely I'm hoping that translates here as he gets really loose down on the bottom there, trying to find as much grip as he possibly can. It's one thing about dirt track racing, you got to search for that grip. The 99 of Chris Johnson having a respectable day right now as he sits in that 7th spot, trying to work his way up there to Josh Schaffner and Strunk. Strunk! Oh, Strunk is getting a little bit wiggly as here comes Schaffner, tries to go to the inside to see if he can't get back up into the 5th place position. And it looks like he might be able to do so as he slides it in, definitely trying to pull a slide job out of the hat, and it looks like he's able to do it. Very close to having 2 laps here to go in the stage. Of course, we mentioned before, fuel window is about 150 laps. These guys shouldn't have a problem making it, but I think we might end up seeing some guys maybe on the second stage, maybe first stage, go down pit road just to make sure they have enough fuel. Pit road's been a point of contention as well. Coming down pit road, especially on the green, is going to be impossible, I'd say. Ryan Strunk falls back into the 7th position. Good day so far for J.C. Evans. He sits in that 8th spot at the moment. Of course, Brian Johnson now out to 7/10 of a second of a lead over now 8/10. So he's trying to pull away. Of course, this is much different than what we see on the asphalt tracks. A lot of, caution is out. And that, of course, is the stage break. Brian Johnson, your stage 1 winner, with Brandon Paslacqua coming home in 2nd. 3rd place, Corey Saucier. 4th place, Jose Acosta. 5th place, Josh Schaffner. 6th place, Chris Johnson. 7th, Ryan Strunk. 8th, J.C. Evans. 9th, Kenny Powell. And rounding out our top 10 in stage points is Al Kozlowski. So these guys are going to definitely be lucky, or not lucky, I'd say happy to get these stage points. We talk about it all the time in the ISCA. The stage points are so important. But with that, we'll take a quick step away. We'll come right back, and hopefully we'll be able to chat with our stage winner.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
Brian Johnson, we got you in the booth. Hope you got a moment to talk. I know the green flag will probably come out very soon, considering how short the cautions are out here. But can you tell us how the car's feeling out there, Brian, after your stage 1 win? Yeah, it definitely looks fun out there. Now, did the track conditions carry over from practice and qualifying? Because it looks like the track is very slick compared to what you'd be expecting on a fresh track. Yeah, definitely. Now, is it more difficult to drive it when it's more worn out like this? Heck yeah. What a move you had on the initial lap. I mean, was the top side really that much better on the restart? Definitely seems like it, man. Well, great job to you. Who can we give a shout out to after that stage 1 victory? All right. Well, thanks for your time, Brian, and good luck with the rest of your race. Hopefully, you're able to keep it clean and green. I know lap traffic might come into play later. We wish you the best of luck with that. Alrighty, that was Brian Johnson, our stage 1 winner. Fantastic performance for stage number 1. Stage number 2 getting set to get going here. Pace car lights should be going off right now, so we're set to get back racing here. And of course, we're going to be going to lap 70 this time around. Definitely excited to see what these guys can do here. Of course, we kind of had our suspicions, Big Al, kind of confirmed that the track conditions from practice and qualifying did carry over to the race, and that is making it extremely difficult from what Brian Johnson has been saying. He says the car is very hard to drive. Yeah, a lot of times in real life racing, during the after practice and qualifying, they usually go out there with the kind of this tractor and kind of freshen up the dirt, but they don't think they had the chance to do that here tonight as Brian Johnson tries to hold on to that first spot. Brandon Pasalacqua being challenged by Corey Saucier here. Caution is back out on the speedway. 100%. Oh, it looks like the one is the cause of that caution. Kind of had a self spin. Paul Olson almost got into him. Luckily, that was not the case. Now, of course, we do have a couple guys that are lap down now. Randy Mullins is a lap down. Derek Jacobs a lap down. Matt DeCiani a lap down. Greg Carr 2 laps down. And I'm wondering why that is. I think it might be because they went down pit road and just did not get off in time. Might have been even trying to fix some damage. Yeah, very difficult indeed. Of course, we did have a couple guys pit that are still on the lead lap, Mark Sanchez and Scott Naslin. And I kind of talked a little bit about that earlier, about how difficult it is to pit around this place. I mean, a lot of guys are talking about when they come down pit road, they're kind of fishtailing or, crab walking because the car is set up to be sideways. So definitely very difficult indeed to transition from a dirt surface to actual asphalt. But great job so far to Brian Johnson, has been able to maintain this lead. And he's going to want to keep this, to keep that clean real estate. But as I said before, if we get us a green run, lap traffic is going to come into play. And if Brian Johnson has to get through lap traffic, I mean, it's one thing to get around lap traffic at an asphalt track or a road course or anything like that. But getting around lap traffic at a dirt track, if you're getting lapped, your car's not handling well, and you're already probably almost on the verge of out of control. So, I mean, that's just kind of an obstacle that, a lap car or the leader has to deal with, as we see Derek Jacobs, I do believe, coming back onto the lead lap here. But these guys definitely have their work cut out for them here tonight. But I think it's going to be all about surviving, just staying alive and having some good luck, I'd say. I mean, of course, also very good car control. But I think luck definitely plays a part into it because, I mean, like I said, it's so difficult to avoid an accident when something's happening in front of you. I mean, seen it before. You don't have a whole lot of reaction time, especially, I mean, at Bristol on the asphalt, Big Al, tell me if you agree with me. A lot of times it's hard to even avoid wrecks there, considering when you're coming out of the corner, your visibility is quite low. I mean, it's hard to see, especially with how narrow, or how narrow the exits are at a track like this, even on asphalt. Yeah, 100%. And I even talked to, in another broadcast I'm affiliated with, we talked about it. Having triples or VR is very important here at a track like this because, like you said, when you're in the corner, you're sideways looking at the wall essentially, and you have to have some sort of way to look in your peripheral to be able to see when someone's behind you or beside you, I should say. And here comes the pace car. Should be heading down pit road very soon as the pace car lights are out. And we're getting ready to get set to go green once again. And the green flag is out once again. Brian Johnson with another great start. But here comes Pasalacqua. He's going to try to go side by side into the corner. Not able to get there. Maybe a slide job. Oh, Pasalacqua with some big moment, I should say, as he loses a bunch of spots. That he does. Strunk, though, up on the top side. Oh, gets real loose there on the exit. I'll tell you who's been really a good mover so far tonight has been J.C. Evans looks really good. He looks like he's in his comfort zone in that 9 machine. Of course, he is at the moment trying to hold off Scott Naslin. Yeah, Kenny Powell definitely been another one that has been moving through the field up and down. Now sits in that 9th spot for now, of course, as he battles with the 22. And it does seem like Brian Johnson was right. As this track, of course, because it's so worn out, the bottom line seems to be the best place to be. And we also do see that Corey Saucier is now up in the lead. He just got by Brian Johnson. He's about 2/10 out in front right now. Brandon Paslock to the outside wall as he tries to catch up to Brian Johnson. Of course, Brian Johnson trying to do battle there with Saucier. Looks like Brandon Paslock with a nice recovery, though. I mean, he fell all the way back, I do believe, to 5th or 6th, and now has found his way back up into 3rd. Here comes Corey Saucier and Brian Johnson contact. Brian Johnson muscling his way around, and here comes Paslock taking advantage. The 3 cannot be too happy about that. Just to kind of show, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about when it comes to the view you have in these race cars. You see how much these guys have to work that steering wheel as well. And a lot of these drivers are in different gears too, Big Al. You know, you see guys in 2nd gear, 3rd gear, 4th gear. Yeah, and also setup as well. Whoa! There goes Al Kozlowski. Kozlowski losing it. Yeah, I think he's scared to kind of come back up on the racetrack. I think he's going to lose a lap here. Yep. He doesn't want to get a penalty. Brandon Paslakwa back up into the lead. He was able to get by Brian Johnson. Paslakwa has been really fast tonight. Yeah, that was when the track was as fresh as it could be. So I'm wondering if that definitely affects. Oh, the 27 almost gets into the 88 there. I do believe the 88 was trying to get back onto the racetrack. Paslak was coming up. He's the last man on the lead lap, and he's been racing pretty good so far. He's slow on the bottom there. Now he does go a lap down. I guess I shouldn't have said anything. But, hey, I mean, I'm just glad these guys are attempting this. I mean, it's just like the road course at COTA. You know, I know a lot of drivers don't really characterize themselves as road course guys, but they still want to try and they still want to learn. Well, Big Al, so you think you do good out here on this dirt track? I mean, do you have any? Oh, look at that. The 5 gets turned by the 24. Caution is out. Yeah, and you know what? Those two have kind of had some history here lately, the 24 and the 5. Of course, they are on the same team. We've seen them have a lot of history. You see Greg Wachinski just trying to get by Kenny Powell and fortunately slid up. Very easy to do. Yeah, especially to get their laps back. Unfortunately, Kenny Powell did go a lap down, and he was involved in that incident, so will not get his lap back. Paul Olson, though, should get his. And it looks like everybody is going to give him a pathway forward to get that lap back. So good on Paul Olson. And I'm impressed with Paul Olson because I know he hasn't turned a lot of laps this week. I mean, didn't even have a setup coming into tonight's race, and asked some of his G&G teammates for a setup and jumped out there, and he's still out there performing. I mean, on the lead lap, there's nothing 13th, can't take that away from him. If he just survives, and especially if the cautions keep coming out the way they are, if he just stays alive out there, I think he'll be okay. Well, I know we're going to have another caution in about 8 laps because it's the end of the stage. But, yeah, Big Al, I do think we're going to have some more cautions. I think it's a safe bet that we will see that yellow flag fly once again. But, like you said, Lou Ferrigno's up there. Well, Barney, he'd be too tired. He can't do this. We had to get somebody to lift weights up there. We got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson throwing the flags.
At Farmers, yeah, my bad. I didn't want to jump in here like
Getting
that,
into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country.
Yes.
We would love your help in doing that.
They didn't hear me be all, yeah, so we get a clean slate. How long do you think it was jacked up?
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten. If you feel like you could help us, please.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Green flag is back out in the air. Brandon Pasalacqua is up towards the front of the field. We do want to apologize just quickly. Had a little bit of audio technical difficulty. We are back running again, so we didn't get to hear Big Al. I was talking to myself. He was there talking to me as well. He was saying all sorts of nasty stuff, so I had to mute it. Look at this, though, Big Al. Corey Saucier trying to do battle with the 4. Of course, those two had a little bit of contact earlier. You can definitely start to see that burn kind of starting to form up on the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And drivers are going to be they're going to have to get creative. Now, you can still see dust trails, dirt trails, and that's a good thing. That means that part of the track has not been glazed over just yet. So kudos for that. But, unfortunately, as you start to see those darker areas there in the corner, drivers are going to start to catch traction there. And sometimes if you're not prepared for that, if you're looking more for a drift or a slide, and then you get traction, these cars that just they really can kind of put you in a bind a little bit there, Brian.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And as they continue to go, that dirt's going to get pushed and pushed closer and closer to that wall as we see Chris Johnson trying to battle with Scott Naslin. Yellow flag is back out. And I think that will complete stage 2, but I don't think that was based on the stage.
Yeah, that should have been the stage flag.
That's interesting. I think it might have been Saucier. Because it was interesting because, like, we saw, because, I mean, usually the caution comes out on lap 71, but the caution came out there on lap 70, so it came out a little bit early. So that's why I thought maybe something went wrong. But maybe that was just the caution coming out. No, yeah, the 3 came to a stop on the track. I think that might have had something to do with it. That was a little bit odd there, but not perfect timing for the caution flag to fly, though. Of course, Chris, well, that's odd. It's saying Chris Johnson's in the lead, right? Here, just got stuff all kind of messed up here. And I think that might be because we just saw some guys possibly going down pit road, which is Brandon Pasalacqua and Brian Johnson, Corey Saucier, Josh Schaffner, and Jose Acosta all went down pit road. So kind of hard to tell who actually got the stage 1 victory. I would assume it was probably Brandon Pasalacqua, maybe. But definitely a great stage number 2. A lot of battling been going on out there. A lot of drivers been having some problems, though, as well. Been trying to tackle this racetrack. What say we talk to Brandon Pasalacqua here when we come back, Big Al? What do you think?
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Play a quick commercial, and we will talk to Mr. Pasalacqua. All right, we are back, and we're going to be talking to Brandon Pasalacqua for just a moment here. Big Al standing by.
Brandon Pasalacqua, Big Al up at the booth. How you doing out there, boss? Brandon Pasalacqua, Big Al. Oh.
Well, looks like he did not want to chat.
Brandon. Sorry,
Yo,
Brandon.
what's up?
Big Al, you got me?
I got you.
Sorry about that. Seems like I dropped you in the wrong room, man. But, hey, real quick, how's it going down there, bud? And congratulations on your Stage 2 victory.
Thank you. It's going real well. Track's slick, and we're having fun out here, Al.
All right, roger that. Sorry we didn't get a chance to talk to you longer, but hopefully you'll be on the podium, man, and we'll chat at you when this thing's over. Who you shouting out?
G&G, brother.
All right, get back at it.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was Brandon Pasalacqua. And the green flag is back out with a new leader, Chris Johnson, out front as we see Greg Wyszynski duking it out for J.C. Evans. How big do you think track position is at this track there, Big Al? Oh, look at this. You see 3 wide as contact with J.C. Evans and Brian Johnson. Greg Wyszynski also involved. Still 3 wide for just a moment there. Jose Acosta trying to go through the middle. These guys are racing hard, and we're only 77 laps into the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and there they go. Greg Wyszynski into the inside wall hard. Jose Acosta around.
Yeah, that definitely was not a good look right there.
And look at the front end of the 5. He is missing his front bumper.
Snap, drizzle, dizzle.
Take a look back here. We see the initial contact with Greg Wyszynski in the 9 of J.C. Evans. Take a look back at what happened with Wyszynski side by side with Corey Saucier here. Got up into the outside burn there. Just got loose into Brandon Pasalacqua. Pasalacqua kept it underneath him and then I do believe the 5 got helped out around by the 4 of Brian Johnson. And hard hit on the inside wall.
Yeah, you saw his bumper go flying off there, man. That's just well, Matt DeCiani looks like he was going to be in the wave around.
Well, good for him. As we see, let's take a look back at this here from a different perspective. Look at this. Boom! There's the
Look at a
bumper.
little bit of help.
Yeah, he got a little bit of help from Brian Johnson, looks like. Big hit there for Greg Wychinski. I'm wondering if he's going to have any required repairs. I'll tell you who got really lucky in that whole scenario. Brandon Pasalacqua. He had some contact with Greg Wychinski as well, but was able to keep it going straight. Excellent car control from that race car driver there. And Brian Johnson also very close call. I don't know how bad Jose got it, but he is still on the lead lap. Wychinski has gone a lap down now.
Wychinski's going to go several laps down as he is in the pits with a repairs required flag.
Well, there you go. My question has been answered. He is got a repairs required flag, and I'm wondering if that's going to be engine damage as well. I mean, you don't hit the wall that hard and not have engine damage. I'm telling you, I've been very impressed, though, with the performance from Corey Saucier. He's been a front runner all night so far in that 3 machine. Looks like he has some very adequate dirt experience. Like to see what his I rating is.
Who's that?
Corey Saucier. Looks like he's about a 1500 C class, but he looks like he's very comfortable playing in the dirt right now.
Yeah, definitely not showing any signs of being shy or timid by any stretch of the imagination. Wychinski's pit woes seem to be over as he is back on the track.
Still
got that thing looking like a modified down there.
He does, but at least he's back on the track. He's 2 laps down, along with Al Koslowski, Randy Mullins, Derek Jacobson, Greg Carr, who's now 3 laps down. I do believe pace car lights are off, getting ready to take that left turn down pit road. As the fans here are on their feet, ready to see some more dirt racing here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Have had a lot of good big movers, a lot of great performances. Here comes the green flag. Chris Johnson going way early.
Wasting no time trying to get out front. Now, Paul Olsen did kind of misstep a little bit on the start, so that stacked up a couple of guys behind him. Brian Johnson, though, making it a little bit sporty as he's going to be on the outside of Schaffner. Schaffner appears to be having his hands full. Just wondering how many guys are going to actually scramble to try to get up top there to that loose dirt.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Johnson definitely taking advantage of it, putting those tires.
Ooh, too much. Too much good dirt right there as he almost got a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah, it looks like it's very hard to manage up there. It looks like the line that you want to take is the bottom right now. That seems to be where the majority of the grip is, which is surprising. I mean, a lot of times you see guys ripping the top in this dirt track. It looks like the track has gotten so worn where you can't even go up there anymore.
Yeah, that's just making an already bad situation even more challenging, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Look at the 3 car getting real jiggy with it down there.
And look at there. Schaffner, he's up on the top, side by side, 2 rows deep there.
These guys are definitely they're giving the fans the money's worth. They're making it look like some good old-fashioned Saturday night dirt track racing here.
Oh, it definitely is. Some
Gotta
great
love
racing.
I mean, we got cars down there with no bumpers on them. I mean, this thing is just awesome.
Yeah, I can't ask for a better show. Oh, the 42 trying to dive it in underneath the 22 for that 7th place
contact.
spot.
Oh, and the 22 hard into the wall. Caution's going to come out. Yeah, bad juju there for the 22. Saucier just really got smashed.
He's definitely been having a rough day.
We missed it, but for whatever reason, looks like Al Koslowski is sporting that old dreaded meatball flag.
Yeah, of course, he's missing his front bumper as well, so. Yeah, I think the engine might have just went out on him possibly. Oh, now that's what it did it right there. He hit them barrels.
Them barrels don't move, boss.
They do not. Take a look back at the 22 and see exactly what happened to him. Get a good replay. As him, I do believe in the 42 have a little bit of a contact here. Oh, just a little touch on the inside wall. Pretty hard hit. Didn't take his bumper off like we've seen. I love this new damage model, though. We're seeing a whole lot more damage. As a broadcaster, I like this damage model. I'm sure the drivers down there on the track don't like it very much.
I guarantee you they don't.
Of course, on lap 90 now. Going to have, I do believe, 67 laps to go here. Brandon Pasalacqua has gotten back to the lead, got by Chris Johnson. Josh Schaffner sits in third place. Corey Saucier sits in fourth. Brian Johnson's in fifth. Ryan Strunk with a pretty good day today. He sits in sixth.
Yeah, lots of exciting things going on around the racetrack today.
Yeah, 100%. Been very, very exciting to say the least. As I do believe Randy Mullins last time got the wave around. He now finds himself only one lap down. Going to see if he can't get up there and be the 15th driver on the lead lap. As of the moment, we have 14 on the lead lap. Even with the cautions, this thing still has gone by pretty quickly. Only a little under an hour into the show so far, and we've seen a ton of racing, a ton of guys definitely, like you said, I think not afraid to make moves. And that's one thing I think that is big about, the ISCA. We have so many talented drivers in this series that, no matter where we're at, the dirt track, the road courses, the short tracks, I mean, they're willing to get dirty. They're willing to make moves. They have confidence in the race car, and that's what it takes. I mean, confidence sometimes can get you it's half the battle,
Yeah, absolutely.
Pace car lights are off, though. We're getting ready to get back green once again. Still unknown. I don't really have a favorite right now. I don't think anybody has really shown just dominating speed so far.
Yeah, you got a favorite. It's just Big Al up in the booth, man. Come on.
That's right. Green flag is back out. Look at Schaffner go. What a start from him.
Brandon Pasalacqua wasted no time getting going as well, and that did free Schaffner up. Allowed him to definitely go as he had nobody in front of him. Jose Acosta doing everything he can. Looks like he's got a pretty good car here as well, Brian. But a lot of these guys just really dealing with an ill handling race track, so to speak, not necessarily an ill handling race car.
Yeah, I don't think it's the race cars. I think it's just the track itself. It is so worn out. These guys have done well over 100 laps on this track.
Oh, Jose Acosta gets into the side of Chris D. Johnson. That door, Dean St. Johnson hard into the wall.
And after the fact, Paul Olsen comes in and just smashes the 99.
Yep, probably don't want to talk to him for about a week or so.
Take a look back at this. You see Chris Johnson was battling with his brother Brian. Here comes Jose into the picture. Comes up and just slides up and just a little touch right up into the outside wall hard. And that actually blew the engine. That first contact blew the engine, and here comes Paul Olsen. Big hit on the front end, so you could definitely tell the new damage model is in effect right now, just considering, I mean, a lot of times these next gens, it's incredibly hard to blow the engines, but I think the new update made it to where it's a little bit easier.
Hi, you want to talk to Chris?
If you want to, Big Al. prepare yourselves, everybody. I know Chris is probably going to be a little bit upset here. Chris Johnson, we got you here in the booth. Can you walk us through what happened? It looks like the engine blew on you.
Yeah, I think I got a concussion out of that. But,
Probably did. It was quite a hit. And then Paul Olson kind of came in and got you after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's really a godforsaken track anyways, and it is what it is. It was good racing while it lasted.
Now, how difficult has it been? I mean, I know especially the track is so worn out. I mean, they did not freshen it up in between qualifying and the race itself. Do you think that lent to difficulties that a lot of drivers are facing here tonight?
Well, once we get going, it's really not that bad. Everybody gets kind of stretched out, and you almost drive it like it's normal Bristol. Of course, except Brandon and Brian, they got something special that I have no idea what they're running, but it was good once we get strung out, but the cautions just killed it.
Yeah, cautions definitely have been something that we've seen a lot of here so far tonight, and that's to be expected. I mean, we've seen in the officials, it's been pretty much the same way. I mean, I know ISCA usually is the difference maker to where we have a lot of clean racing, but it's just dirt. I mean, do you think it's just a lot of guys not used to driving on the dirt?
No, it's just the nature of the track. I mean, sometimes you have grip, sometimes you don't. It almost feels like it's random at points.
100%. Well, we definitely are we hate to see that you had so many problems out there and had to, have that engine blow. I'm sure it's frustrating, but can we give a shout out to anybody before we let you go?
Of course, Southern Spile Pipe, Josh for buying the TWRS sets, and of course, y'all up in the booth.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Chris, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. That was Chris Johnson, driver of the 99, just sustained heavy damage and accidentally or had a engine let go on him, so just unfortunate. Pace car lights are out. Brandon Pasalakwa going to be the leader here on this next restart. Josh Schaffner going to be starting up on the top row, and I think this is going to be. I think we're going to see some more drivers with similar issues, Big Eye. I don't think we've seen the last driver, take a tow.
Oh no, oh no, more tows. But yeah, now
have to have that tow truck come out there some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Schaffner definitely gets a good run now. He's going to be on the high side.
Green flag. And the green flag is back out. Saucier with a good start on the bottom there. Pasalakwa right now in control.
Oh, contact between Jose and the 4, Brian Johnson. That sent Brian Johnson way down to the inside.
Take a look back at this. Go a little bit further back and see how this kind of all. The yellow flag is out. You can see where that kind of all happened. Now the yellow flag, I don't know how that came out. I do believe it might have been. Trying to see who that exactly brought the yellow out.
Greg Wachinski.
Greg Wachinski now has gone 3 laps down, so yeah, I think you're right. Greg Wachinski and I do believe Alexander Carr. You see Brian Johnson. Oh, no. Oh. Well, I thought at first when I was rewinding it, yeah, when I was rewinding it, I thought it might have been Alexander Carr's fault, but Wachinski's car just blew up.
Yeah, I think his motor let go.
Oh, man.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I mean, not for him.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just like to actually have mechanical failures as a result, you know what I mean? I think that's the most awesome thing ever.
Well, you got to think also his front bumper is no longer protecting him from getting dirt in it.
Yeah, and that was just, that just set off a chain event, a series of events.
Yeah, speaking of which, I mean, the series of events is the 27, kind of trying to avoid the 18, and the 22 gets into the rear, and both of them go around.
Yeah, a little ping pong action going on there, Brian.
I'm telling you what, this has definitely been quite a crazy race, and what a race to just put on display the new damage model that has been released today. As we're coming up, I do believe when the green flag flies, we'll have less than 50 laps to go. And I think Brandon Passalacqua might have become the favorite to possibly win this race. But I think there still is a lot of possibility that Corey Saucier might be able to get something done. And I think this would be his first win if he was able to get it done out here. And I think last week, didn't we see our first winner, first-time winner, if I'm not mistaken? I think in the Saturday series. So it would be awesome to see that kind of continue, right? To see some first-time winners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, all the time.
You can see, we can tell we're on the dirt track, looking at the front end of these race cars, dirt caked up. And that actually can cause a lot of temperature issues itself. I don't know if that's modeled really into the iRacing service, but I know in real life, you know, a lot of times they have to clean that dirt up off the front of the car because it blocks air getting into the engine. But we are definitely learning a lot here. As you mentioned before, I think on the top of the broadcast, talking about this is our second time visiting Bristol dirt track. I'll tell you what, it's definitely exciting, and I'm becoming I like it. I'm starting to like it. Delayed green. Pace car lights come back on.
It's kind of got
Paul Olsen. Paul Olsen, I think, might have just blew his engine.
I'm not sure. He's not showing as being broken.
Well, he just came to a stop on the racetrack then. Oh, he's still moving. Wondering why he stopped like that. I think he might have been stopping because he was getting told to let everybody go by, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I do believe to be the case.
Yeah, I think that was exactly what it was. He just came to a stop. I assumed it because I know he has heavy front-end damage as well. And, you know, we've seen it a lot tonight. Heavy front-end damage seems to lead to the engine letting go. But it looks like, yeah, he is still able to run under his own power. He is now a lap down. Sitting in 14th, though. Still not a terrible day.
Yeah, still got a lot of races left to go. 49 laps left before this thing is even in the books. Pace truck down and away.
There we go. Green flag is back out. Corey Saucier with a heck of a restart, but Brandon Passalacqua comes up and takes the line away. Ryan Strunk.
And here comes Jose. Absolutely. And Strunk just gets by Josh Schaffner. Jose Acosta definitely on his way right now. Looks like his car is handling pretty good as Matt DiCianni gets his what's back underneath.
Schaffner and Strunk are definitely duking it out right now. Getting very close to one another. So hard to race side by side here at a dirt track. Oh, it is. Looks like Schaffner trying to throw the slider, and it's going to work.
Powell really lost it there. That sent him down towards the bottom of the racetrack.
That's going to put him under fire, possibly by J.C. Evans.
Absolutely, as well as Matt DiCianni.
And DiCianni has had a heck of a recovery, wouldn't you say? I mean,
caution's out.
Caution flag is out. And I do believe, not sure who brought this caution out. Maybe Derek Jacobs. Taking a look here at Derek Jacobs, see if it might have been him, because I saw he was coming down pit road. Yeah, he just got too low, spun it down, and that is what brought the caution out.
Ooh.
Ooh,
yeah, he got time to access pit road, so that's just an even longer ride.
And look at this. Look how hard it is to drive down pit road. I mean, it is.
Once that car gets off the dirt, man, it's a whole different animal.
I mean, it just favors the dirt.
Like you just when you have it on that concrete, she just dog waggles so bad.
Yeah. And I know you've talked about this car being purpose built for, driving on road courses. I mean, isn't it just something that this car is capable of going to short tracks, going to road courses, going to dirt tracks? I mean, it looks like it could do it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what they kind of had in mind when they developed this thing.
100%.
And its 6 predecessors, none of that was ever even a thought,
And I will say, I know it doesn't have a whole lot to do with what we're seeing here tonight, but the Richmond race in real life on Sunday, one of the best short track races I've seen in this next gen car. I think they really have done a lot of work to get that short track program, on the money. And I think the only thing they can do now is add about 100 more horsepower. Let's bump them up to 1,000 horsepower, Big Al. Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But here we go, coming up to 40 laps to go here. Pace car lights should be going out any time now, as we have seen quite a few cautions. But guys are still rising up to the occasion. Hope we get us a nice at least 20 green flag laps. Let us see if we can't, who has the best car. I don't think we've seen really who has the best car. I think Brandon Paslak is in the running order for sure. He's been one that has been up front, qualified on the front row, on the pole position. Corey Saucier definitely has had a really fast race car as well. Like you said as well, Jose Acosta, he's had a fast race car.
Yeah, absolutely. Jose has actually had a pretty good race, as well. But Ryan Strunk, though, he is our biggest mover so far, as he started this thing in 14th, Ryan, and he's restarting on 3rd.
I mean, that's big. I mean, he went from 14th all the way up to 3rd or 4th right now. I mean, that is a lot of gains.
Lots of gains indeed.
And here we go. Pace car should be heading down pit road any second now. And one thing I talked to these guys about before the race was how physically demanding this race was going to be.
Green flag.
And there goes the green flag. It's back out in the air. You have to really saw on these wheels. I mean, you're not going to be able to hold the wheel straight. This is not a smooth 3 wide almost there. Wow.
Yeah, you really are kind of slinging it just a little bit.
I mean, back and forth. I mean, sawing on that wheel. Oh, and Jose Acosta with the slide jump slides right up in front of Josh Schaffner. What a move for him, and he moves up to 2nd place. But here comes Schaffner. I don't think Schaffner's going to let him get away too easily here. And Corey Saucier was the one holding the bag there on that last restart, as he's now going to be challenged by Brian Johnson.
Yeah, Corey's having a little bit of a time here holding on to that 3 car. I think you might see him lose a couple more positions before this thing is over. I think his center of balance just kind of lost him right now.
And a lot of that could even come down to the fact that these guys have been burning a lot of gas. They haven't been going down pit road a whole lot of times, and as the fuel starts to burn off, it really changes the handling of the race car.
What do you call that? The slosh factor?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially when you're sliding the car so much, I mean, that would slosh the gas in the car. But this is probably the biggest lead we've seen all night. Brandon Paslak out to over a second now.
Man, Brian Johnson trying to do everything he can to get around Ryan Strunk.
Brian Johnson, of course, has led laps here tonight. Led a lot of them. Fortunately, he's not in the lead right now. Trying to work his way back up into the top 3. Look at this.
That run kid right there.
Really?
Wow. Right there.
He was so close to the back end of that save. Oh, into the outside wall. And he is all up on the top of the track. This is not going to be good.
That's different dirt up there.
It definitely is. Still able to defend as he's driving
right on the edge of it. Yeah, he's right on the edge of fast right there.
Well, they always say that loose is fast. I don't know if loose is fast on a dirt track. I mean, they say the straighter you can be on a dirt track, the faster you're going to be, because that's when the tires are getting the grip down to the dirt.
Yeah, I don't want to be straight on dirt.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you want to hang it loose. That's when it's the coolest, when you see them sideways.
Got to get a little bit sideways.
And here comes sideways Brian Johnson on the inside of Strong in contact for that fourth place position. It looks like Johnson's going to take it.
Kenny Powell down pit road. Mark Sanchez also down pit road. Both with repairs required flags. Looks like
I think Powell got involved
Powell's
with somebody.
Motor. Did it look like his motor expired?
I'm not sure here. I'm looking back at this right here.
Ooh,
up into the outside wall and a little contact with Paul Olson.
Ooh-wee! Man, Brian Johnson is really hanging it out up here. Once you get back, it's gonna be an awesome show.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what happened with Powell. We really wasn't able to get to the source of it, but we do see Brian Johnson battling hard. He's trying to get up there to Josh Schaffner. Look at him! Wow, you're right. He is putting that thing to work.
There's
Powell. Wow, that was a close one.
Wow,
I thought Powell was getting ready to call us a big one there.
That was almost like the Santa Claus showing up at Easter time.
Yeah, they're not going to let Powell go find the Easter eggs this Sunday. Brian Johnson, though, has moved himself up into third place. Of course, Pasalak was still with over a second lead. See Josh Schaffner trying to keep his hand on the wheel and keep it going. But look at DeCiani. He's had up and down racing. Went from being a couple laps down to now being up in sixth and in contention for a top five.
Well, I'll tell you, the one who's laying down the smack down right now, man, that's the four Brian Johnson. He is on a tear.
Caution is out, the 27 around. Oh, and Corey Saucier into the inside wall.
With Josh Schaffner to boot.
I think they might have been taking evasive actions to try to get around Jacobs. Taking a look back here, seeing what exactly happened. You see Kenny Powell slow on the bottom of the track. And then just Derek Jacobs. Oh, huge hit for Brian Johnson as well.
Yep. And the hits just keep on coming.
I want to watch this accident here with Corey Saucier and Josh Schaffner again. And yeah, Corey Saucier was trying to avoid the 27, and Schaffner just nowhere to go, really. Luckily, it wasn't too big of a hit for those drivers, but I think the biggest hit out of all that was probably Brian Johnson. Take a look here from Brian Johnson. See as he gets into the 27, not a lot he could do here. You see just no time to correct. Boom! That had to break the toe link on Derek Jacobs' car.
Nope, Mr. Jacobs' car seems to be just fine.
Wow. That's surprising because that was a heavy hit right on where that wheel is, that front tire. This race has just been nothing but excitement, I'll tell you that. And this is going to give, I think, new life to Jose Acosta's chances here. I mean, you saw Brandon Pasalakwa was out to over a second. Well, that lead has now disintegrated. And we saw how fast Jose was. I think that now, if he gets the right restart, he could possibly challenge for the lead. And we got to keep an eye on Brian Johnson. How much does the damage hurt him? We see Kenny Powell going back down pit road probably to get some more repairs completed. And right now we are down to, I do believe, 11 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. So definitely these guys having quite the time, I'd say. I'm having quite the time up here, up in the booth, and that's a positive. I think that the time they're having down there on the track, Big Al, is negative.
You know what I mean?
100%. And also, this is giving a big chance to Matt DiCiani as well. He's now up in the top 5. J.C. Evans is in 5th right now because of Schaffner and I do believe Saucier both going around. This has definitely changed the outlook of this race and could be one of J.C. Evans' best finishes we've ever seen.
Now, Matt DiCiani is going to be our biggest mover as he started in 15th, finds himself 4th.
And Ryan Strunk, who was up in the top 4, top 5, now finds himself back in 10th place. He was the biggest mover, but like you said, DiCiani now takes that crown. As the green flag is soon to come out, we're going to have 30 laps to go here. Actually, no, 20 laps to go. What's the over-under on do we see another caution? Green flag is back out. Brandon Ponsalacqua with a really good start. Brian Johnson goes to battle.
Matt DiCiani, though, finding himself slipping just a little bit all the way back to 6, Brian. 3 wide further back in the pack. That's going to make that even that much more exciting.
Yeah, drivers are battling. Elbows are out right now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's go time. It's time to eat. So if you want to get paid, it's time to put the hammer down. Josh Schaffner making it eat, doing what he's got to do as he is currently up in 6th place.
Yeah, if you want to get some biscuits, now's the time to make them, right?
Roll the dough, baby. It's time to roll the dough.
Yeah, Josh Schaffner trying to work his way back up to the top 5. Of course, he was involved in that last accident. Yellow flag is back out. I do believe J.C. Evans.
Definitely, I will share cautions in the ISCA here tonight.
Taking a look back at this, I think it was J.C. Evans, not sure. Well, I think I might be wrong here. Not sure where the caution came from.
I mean, at this point, I think we just get a free caution. Wasn't it like 13 cautions and then get a caution for free?
Yeah, they got a stamp card.
I'm
not quite sure. I think this is just a freebie, I guess.
Just because. Looks like the 22.
Oh, it was the 24. It was Kenny Powell.
Wow, Kenny Powell. He is definitely getting his name mentioned quite a bit tonight in the broadcast.
Yeah, not in a good way. I mean, I know that he actually was doing fairly well earlier in this event, but not now.
Kenny Powell finds himself just 6 laps down.
Just 6 laps down. That's nothing special.
It's a process, Brian.
Tell you what, look at Paul Olson. He's back on the lead lap in 12th. It's been a fine day for that 43.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm tickled pink for everybody out there that's still doing well, whether they're 2 laps down or 10. You know, the fact if you're still out there running, well, giddy up, man. Good on you.
Yeah, for sure. I know I would have been already retired, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're doing big boy stuff tonight, Brian.
Do appreciate everybody out there joining us here this evening. If you like what you've seen so far, make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Follow us if you maybe are interested in joining the ISCA, we definitely need some people on Saturday and Thursday as well. Reach out to Kenny Powell or look up iRacing Stock Car Association in the league directory for iRacing, and you can shoot them an application. And maybe you can get your name mentioned.
Woohoo!
Maybe not this week. Don't join this week. Unless you're a dirt course ringer or dirt track ringer, then yeah, come on out. I want to see these guys go around like a dirt road track, like Crandon or Wild Horse.
Wow.
Do some jumps,
I don't know if we're all ready for all of that right now.
Do some jumps.
But we're just going to get back to our roots just a little bit, little dirt track racing there. Little Carolina Shine running.
And our pace car lights are out, getting ready to go back green here with 12 laps to go. This thing is almost in the books, but still anything could happen. Brian Johnson up on the top side. We saw how good he is on that top side. And there it is. Brandon Pasalaquado not going to give him the opportunity as he goes early.
Ooh, Matt DeCiani had his hands full. The 54, Randy Mullins back into to the contest as well.
He definitely is. Sits in 9th right now.
Oh, Brian Johnson's got it running there. Pasalaquado got a little bit loose there. Probably maybe a little bit sideways than he needed to.
I think Brian Johnson desperate to try to see if he can't get this victory. He's already won one of the stages. Corey Saucier and Jose Acosta battle for the 3rd spot.
Washington's
yellow
out.
flag.
Man, these cars are holding up pretty good here, man. We're not seeing anybody else receiving those knuckle flags or meatball flags. This caution comes out with just 10 laps to go with this thing, so no matter what, we're getting ready to put this one in the books. And you said about the tallying of the points, do you think they're going to actually go over every caution?
I think it's going to be quite the challenge in order to do that. I'm wondering why this caution came out. Was it the 43? Because I looked back at the previous crash, and it's saying it's the 43, but he didn't really crash. He just came down pit road. I think that was after the caution had already flew. I don't think it was Kenny Powell again, was it?
Nope, I don't believe so.
I don't know what happened there. That one might have been a freebie. I'm not sure. But Greg Carr getting a lap back. He's going to be now 2 laps down. It's going to be quite the chore, though, to go back and look at all these cautions. I'll tell you that. And if they do go look back and look at them and they give, fault points to all the drivers, that's going to be a lot of drivers getting some points tonight. But I think we're getting ready to have us a shootout, though, as we're at 149 laps into this 156-lap race.
Yeah, it'd be the opposite of the Oprah, where instead of getting a stage point, everybody gets incidents. You get an incident point. You get an incident point. Yeah, a lot of drivers rack up some serious tonnage here tonight.
I think they'd probably rather race probably at Circuit of the Americas. I think they're having a more difficult time with this than they did that. I mean, would you agree?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that this takes a whole different level of a different skill set. It's so counterintuitive because a lot of times when you're driving at a short track, you're not having to counter steer and turn right to go left, essentially. But it's so much fun to watch this. I wish that it was more prevalent in NASCAR, that we would go to, like more tracks like Eldora.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, Captain.
Yeah. It's got something to do with your idol, Tony Stewart.
My what?
Your idol.
Yeah, you got me. Me and old Smoke. You know, if anything, he was my arch nemesis because I was a Jimmy Johnson fan, you know, which is Lowe's versus Home Depot. That just shows you how much I hated Home Depot.
I hate Home Depot, too. One time, when I had a motorcycle, I ran behind the Home Depot and ran over a nail. It's their fault.
I agree that you shouldn't have been riding behind it. Brandon Pasalacqua off and away. Green flag's back out.
Look at Jose contact with Johnson.
I mean, Jose drove that in there hard and fast.
He definitely did.
Not really, you know, waiting on anything. Schaffner with a dive bomb to the 3. Oh, this is getting cutthroat down here, Brian.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. Soon to be now 4 to go. As these guys are running out of laps. They got to do what they can do here.
Yeah, everybody's just.
Oh, there goes Jose.
Yep, there it was.
Caution is back out, and we're going to have us a green-white checkered.
1 of 2.
Take a look back at this. I think Jose might have had a little bit of issues probably with Brian Johnson. We'll take a look back at it. See Jose up to the 2nd position. And here comes Brian Johnson closing in quickly. Man, look at Johnson. He just sends it. I'm wondering, or does Jose lose it on his own? Here we go. Yep, contact right there, and that's exactly what did it. Look at the save from Johnson. He did lose a couple spots because of that, but not too many. Jose lost a whole lot more as he falls all the way back to 12th from the top 2. I mean, look at that. That was a long fall.
So do you think a point was made?
Could have been, as you see Jose Acosta's down pit road right now. I think that maybe, I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily retaliation. I think that maybe just some good hard racing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe some hurt feelings from maybe a little bit of payback on the, you know, maybe from Chris Johnson, you know, Brian Johnson, they're brothers. I mean, don't you defend your brother?
Yeah, I got lots of brothers.
The only person that can pick on your brother is you, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the Arabs have a saying. This is me and my brother against my cousin. Me, my brother, and my cousin against a stranger.
That's right. There's a hierarchy. But here we go. Going to be getting our first green-white checkered. Do we finish this under green? It's going to be the real question. Does anybody have anything for Brandon Pasalacqua? I think because he has the advantage on these starts, I think he's possibly got it locked up. But it's going to be difficult. I have a feeling, I mean, just because he could make a mistake. So easy to do that around a track like this.
That is why they make us run every single lap, though.
It is for sure. Pace car lights should be going off now as we get ready to do our first green-white checkered. Brandon Pasalacqua going to lead us there. Of course, Corey Saucier has been very fast all night. We'll have to see how this kind of goes. Does Josh Schaffner, does Brian Johnson come into the picture? Of course, you got Ryan Strunk also in the top 5. Matt DeCiani has worked his way back up into, I do believe, the 7th spot. Randy Mullins moves up to 8th. I know he had his fair share of issues tonight. And here comes the green flag, back out again. Top line just does not get going. And Brandon Pasalacqua able to take advantage. And also Brian Johnson going to see if he can't slip slide his way into second place. Oh, and there goes Corey Saucier loose.
Very loose for Saucier, 2 laps to go.
Oh, no.
And we will not make it. Wait, caution's out, unfortunately.
Oh. Unfortunately, also, Saucier took Josh Schaffner with him. Taking a look back at this here, you can just see how loose Saucier was. Got it together here. Still was loose, just lost it right in front of the 50. Look at the driving on Matt DeCiani. He just able to scoot around there effortlessly. 25 of Greg Carr, heavy contact with the 3.
I think that's going to end it.
Yep, usually in the ISCA we only have 1 green, white checkered, so it looks like that will complete the event. Of course, have to finish these pace laps. And Brandon Pasalacqua will win after starting on the pole and leading the most laps tonight. Of course, Brian Johnson finishes in the 2nd position. Ryan Strunk finishes in 3rd. J.C. Evans comes home in 4th place. Matt DeCiani in 5th. 6th place, Scott Naslin. 7th, Randy Mullins. 8th, Jose Acosta. 9th, Alexander Carr. And 10th, Paul Olson.
That's going to put Corey Saucier in 11th, Greg Carr in 12th. Josh Schaffner 13th, Jared Jacobs 14th, Kenny Powell in 15th, Mark Sanchez 16th, Greg Wachinski 17th, Chris Johnson 18th, and Al Koslowski rounds out the 19th car field.
And with that, we'll take us a brief step away as we see a Polish victory lap from Brandon Pasalacqua. Let's actually remain silent and watch him do this Polish victory lap in reference to Alan Kowicki, but we'll stay silent and then we'll take a commercial break.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten. If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
Or there, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done here?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and what a race we saw here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We got dirty, we had some fun, we saw a little bit of guys have a little bit of drama. I'll tell you what a fantastic performance from our first guest, Ryan Strunk. Third place, man, what a job. I mean, it seems like you just felt like you were at home out there on the dirt. How you feeling, Ryan?
Who saw that coming, guys? Holy crap.
I know, right? I mean, you did fantastic out there. I mean, how much time did you put in preparation-wise to get out here and do as well as you did?
I mean, me and my crew chief, Greg, we spent a bunch of time just trying to get a hold of the dirt. I've also been running the late model Pro Fix official, so just to, keep my skills sharp. And I mean, these guys have speed out here, no doubt. I was just trying to run the bottom, which is pretty foreign compared to every other A Open I've seen this week in testing session. Like, it seems like the top and just about wall riding is where you get your speed, but I mean, I don't know how the ISCA crew prepped the track, but they did a damn good job tonight.
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit different than what I've seen in the A Opens as well, and I think it had something to do with the practice session and the qualifying session not resetting after the fact, so the track was still just as worn as it was at the end of practice and qualifying. So I think that had a lot to do with it and made the track very slick. But you were able to really conquer that. Of course, you started, I think, 14th, finished third. I mean, that's a big, some big gains here tonight. I mean, fantastic. Going to be a great points day for you for sure. But, getting dirty out here, I mean, how do you feel about Bristol, the dirt track?
It's definitely something different with even in dirt cars is different just because the banking that it offers. It's just a lot of dirt tracks you see is they're flat. You got to get it up on the right rear and drive it. In these cars, you kind of roll it a little bit more. It's very weird. It's unlike any other dirt car you ever race on the surface.
100%. Now, how hard was it to avoid accidents? Because it seemed like, of course, you don't have in any dirt car the ability to really brake as much as you'd like. Otherwise, you go spinning right and careening into the accident itself. And so what is the way to avoid accidents out there?
I mean, I take the approach much like super speedways, where it's you're in it or you're not. Like you said, you have very low short-term maneuverability, so like anything that happens right in front of you, you're not gonna be able to correct very quick. So a lot of it's luck. So like I got real lucky with some things. I'm sorry if I got into some guys. Like I was swatting flies in that car, so I was just trying to keep it straight sometimes. And these guys did great. I mean, it was really fun racing. We had a few wrecks, spin outs here and there, but I mean, really hats off to the whole field.
Yeah, definitely to rise up to this occasion. I mean, this is a track that's a lot outside of the comfort zone of a lot of drivers for sure. But going back to the asphalt next week, we head to Martinsville. How do you feel about that track? I know that's one that's quite tricky as well that can provoke a lot of frustration.
Yeah, it'll be nice getting back on the asphalt/concrete, but I guess as glad as I am to get back on the regular surface, like these guys are even quicker there. So I mean, we have our work cut out to try to get a top 5 or even top 3 to be able to talk to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, we don't get to talk to Mr. Ryan Strunk enough, that's for sure. And hopefully we do get to chat with you more there at Martinsville. But thanks for your time here. Great job on the third place finish and being the biggest mover here so far tonight. And who can we give a shout out to after that performance?
Got to give a shout out to my sponsor, Grindstone Stump Grinding. They're based out of Covington, Georgia, and they allow us to go out to the setup shops and get setups to be competitive like tonight. Got to thank you guys in the booth. Got to thank Kenny and the whole ISCA crew for putting this thing on. Got to thank my my wife for dealing with all the testing that we had to do this week. Just get ready for this thing. Yeah, I think that's it. There's probably people I'm forgetting, but like the list goes on, as you know.
Well, you don't get to come up here very often. You need to get you a list written down. But thanks for your time, Ryan. Great job for sure. Just so impressive to see you out there, burning it, doing as well as you did tonight.
Absolutely, guys. Hopefully, we make a regular thing of this, but you never know what next week holds.
100%. We'll see you next time, Ryan, and great job and good luck next week. And happy Easter as well to you. That was Ryan Strunk, our third place finisher. Next up is Brian Johnson. Big Al standing by.
Brian Johnson, Big Al up the booth. You got me?
I got you, Big Al.
Man, what a show you put on down there tonight, Bubba. I think you had a rocket ship underneath you, and you seem to be just enjoying yourself a little bit too much.
Oh yeah, I was having a good time. Finished about where I expected. Fastest car definitely won. Congrats to Brandon and Ryan. Ryan put up a good fight too. It was fun racing those guys. But overall it was a good time. I wish we had a little bit longer runs there so I can battle it out with Brandon. But overall, it wasn't a bad night.
So is it what you kind of anticipated in terms of the cautions and the competition, or were you kind of off on one and up on the other?
Yeah, I knew coming in Brandon was going to be the one to beat. He's been fast all week. We've done some practices together, done some testing. So, I knew he was going to be a force to reckon with here at Bristol Dirt.
Speaking of practice, a track like this is really hard to actually go out there and put down solid reps because, it's dirt. So what were some of the challenges that you faced this week getting ready for this event?
Yeah, just learning, more car control, what the car's going to do, how it's going to react as the track wears. You drive the car with the throttle, right? So there's no braking here, right? Even trying to avoid wrecks, you just point and shoot, and that's all you can do. So, but just practicing, learning what the car likes, what it doesn't like, and what the track state is, and figure out which line to take throughout the race.
And as if, we didn't have enough to contend with this week, trying to figure out how to get these cars how to fly around this thing in the dirt. They threw an update at us. So what were your takes on this latest update that they got?
Yeah, I didn't notice anything really. I think they did some tweaking on the damage model. I got in the wall a couple of times, and I think I got into a lap car there, but it didn't do a whole lot of damage, so I'm not sure exactly what it changed, if anything. So, but yeah, I really didn't notice it out on the track.
Okay, well, we did have a couple guys running around minus front fascias though. I was just wondering if it actually affected the handling of your car at all, if you noticed a difference or not.
Actually, no. I took a pretty good hit on the nose, on the right front nose there. Hit a car that spun out, and it didn't really affect the handling that I could tell. So, the car drove normal. I had good power, so I was able to make speed.
Yeah, we were worried about that because that was coming down towards the end of the race, and normally it seems like for sure that would have been a smashed toe link, but like you said, you rolled on unscathed, so awesome on that.
Yeah, I definitely lucked out there. I thought for sure I broke a toe link, but luckily I didn't. I just got some nose damage, and I was able to soldier on there.
Speaking of soldiering on, next week we head to Martinsville, I believe. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah.
That's going to be a short track if there ever was a short track. What are you thinking?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of beating and banging, man. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit cleaner this go around. Usually that's filled with cautions too, but this feels pretty talented, so we shouldn't have a problem with that. Most of the guys in here, we respect each other for the most part, but hopefully that carries on into next week at Martinsville, and we can have some long green flag runs.
Now, where does Martinsville stack up on your list of tracks? Is it more on the fave side or more on the faux side?
Oh, definitely top 5. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love short track racing, so we'll definitely be putting in some work this week and getting some reps in and tweaking on the setup.
Well, we'll definitely be standing by waiting to see what you guys can do, man. Congratulations again for bringing that thing home tonight on the podium. Started second, finished second. That's a pretty good run. Before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight?
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, it was a battle. Yeah, shout out to Brandon for the win. He was definitely the car to beat tonight, and Ryan for podium. He was racing hard all night and put himself in the position to get a podium. So congrats to him. shout out to Butt Kicker. Shout out to Kenny for running this thing and putting this on. Shout out to you guys up in the booth, Brian, Big Al. Both of you guys do a great job. Shout out to Southern Spiral Pipe and the boys back at G&G Racing.
All right, boss. Don't go out there and party too hard. And, hopefully we'll see you on the box next week.
All right, man. See you there.
Alrighty, that was Brian Johnson, of course, leading 45 laps out of today's competition. Led some laps out there. Definitely a great job to him. Next driver we're going to talk to him. Can't talk apparently. Brandon Pasalacqua got him up on the screen. Started first, finished first, led the most laps here. Almost led 100 laps. 95 on the docket today. I mean, fantastic performance. You were fastest in practice. You were able to qualify on the pole. It seems like you just were at home out here in the dirt, Brandon.
Yeah, no, it was a good day for sure. I'm not sure where it came from. It's tough to be good here. I think it just comes down to practice, a lot of practice. So I'm fortunate just to have a good day here and kept the car somewhat clean. So a lot went in my favor today.
Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, and it seemed like the place to be was up front. I mean, you didn't have as many obstacles. Of course, you did have to deal with some lamp traffic. Of course, you did find yourself, getting past at some parts, but you put your nose to the grindstone and was able to get back up there towards the front. I mean, what was the key to tonight? I mean, it seemed like was it reps? You think, or
Yeah, I think uh, there's a similarity between here at the Bristol Dirt Track and then when we were at Circuit of the Americas. Again, we're all very talented in this league, I think, but it comes down to just the amount of reps we probably do throughout the week at these courses that we're not so familiar with. When we go to an Atlanta or a Las Vegas, right? A lot of us are all really good there, but these tracks where we're not familiar with, it just comes down to practice during the week probably. And I did put in a lot of laps this week here, and I was fortunate enough to work with Brian and Josh and Chris Severa as well this week. So I'm fortunate for those guys and their input, and definitely led to success tonight.
yeah, definitely seemed like it for sure. Bristol Dirt, very challenging, but you were able to really tackle it. How big do you think the track conditions kind of played into it as well? I mean, I'm sure that was something that, were you expecting it to be kind of slick out there, or were you expecting maybe a new track when we switched over?
Yeah, I knew it would be slick at some point in the race, right? I don't know. I was thinking the last 50 laps is when we're all going to be in trouble with the slickness, but with the carryover state, we knew that we were going to have our hands full from the get go. Luckily, the past 2 days I did like just create practice sessions where the track state was at 75 to 80% wear or whatever. So I got a lot of reps and driving the car where there's very little grip, which is different than if you just jump into one of the official races and do the practice there. And then the official races also had way more grip, and the track wasn't nearly as worn out or whatever. So that was a huge role I think today, and just understanding how much throttle to use and to just stick on that low line as best as possible throughout the whole run.
Yeah, that was the big difference as well, because I know in the opens I've seen in the officials, you could definitely see that you can run the top and be very, very successful up there. And I know you were even very successful in practice doing that. You ran quick time 18.7, I think it was, and you couldn't even get close to that in this session. But I think that also caused you guys to, you know, I mean, you would either way would have had to been good on a slick track towards the end of it, but it just elevated the amount of challenge that you guys had tonight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for equal cars, like there really was only one lane, so you either had to get really good drive off exit or hope that the guy in front of you slips up enough to where whatever run you do have, you can pass them. So it definitely made it more challenging to pass, but at the same time, it made it that much more difficult and a lot more fun. So.
Now, touch on a little bit about the physical aspects of a race like this, because I know a lot of guys before the race were talking about how physically demanding this is going to be. Do you think that was the case? Are you kind of a little bit worn out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're you're jerking the wheel back left and right the whole race. I was joking around with the G&G boys. I was like, man, I know we ran a lot of caution laps, but I'm sweating pretty good over here. So it was definitely a physical race, but it just adds to the challenge. And so a lot of fun tonight for sure, and we'll have our hands full next week at Martinsville.
100%. Speaking of Martinsville, I mean, challenge wise, do you think this track is higher on the challenge level or lower than Martinsville? And are you looking forward to Martinsville?
look at them a little bit differently. I think here you can get away with not being as good because we all aren't good here. So again, it just comes down to practice probably. Whereas Martinsville, obviously, it's a challenging track. You're bumper to bumper the whole time. You also have to save your tires and manage that. So two different challenges totally. And it all, I'll get with the G&G boys this week, and we'll try to do the best we can next Thursday.
100%. Well, definitely great job tonight for sure. Able to get that win and lead the most laps. And you also got a stage win, if I'm not mistaken, stage 2. So going to be a very good points day for you, and going to be setting you up for a lot of momentum going into Martinsville. Who can we give a shout out to after this dominant performance?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to touch on that. Brian had a hell of a race. I know that first run, he definitely was way better than I am. So I know he was giving me a lot of credit, but I think he was equally as good, if not better. It just came down to probably track position at the end. And he's stealing all the damn stage points. So I'm glad that I got out with one. I also want to give a shout out to Ryan. He did an excellent job. I think it's the second or third time he's been on the podium and within the last few, month or so. So keep it up there. And then Josh Hoffner also had a great car, had a great pace all day. Unfortunately, he got, a little bit of trouble there at the end, but it's good to see a lot of the G&G boys up at the top there. And I just want to also say, like, the ISCA is super, competitive here. I think we have 7 different winners in 8 races this year, this
Wow.
Thursday Super Cup season. So it's just like real life, everybody's got an opportunity to win on any given night. So anybody that's watching out there, definitely feel free to join us and have your chance at the top spots. And I obviously want to give a shout out to Butt Kicker, Kenny, and everything he does for everybody and the league, the boys at G&G, and then obviously you fellas in the booth. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. You guys put on a heck of a show here tonight. We always had something to talk about, that's for sure. Well, great job to you, Brandon. Congratulations once again, and hopefully we'll get to see you next week on the podium. I'm sure we're getting awful used to talking to you up here, that's for sure. Happy Easter to you as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Brian. Happy Easter to you too.
Alrighty, that was Brandon Pasalacqua. Definitely a fantastic performance. Fantastic performance from all the guys in the top 3. And I do got to give a special shout out to J.C. Evans, 4th place. Look at that. Great job to him. I think that's probably his best finish this season, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a great race over and all. Always great to be back in the dirt. Always great to be back at Bristol one way or another, Brian.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I definitely I love to watch this race. It was something very different, a good palate cleanser from the asphalt we usually see, and can't wait to see this race also on Saturday as well. But definitely big shout outs to everybody out there that made it attempt. I mean, and we also, got to give another shout out to Paul Olson, finished 10th on the dirt here tonight. I mean, great job to him for sure. I mean, we saw a lot of guys moving up and down the field, a lot of awesome drivers, and who knows what would have happened if things have went a little bit differently. But we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in for sure, and hopefully you'll tune in with us on Saturday at about 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the broadcast will officially begin. Of course, the race goes green a little after 9:30. Of course, we will be back here at Bristol. And can't wait. I mean, that is going to be a good one for sure. We'll have to wait and see if we have more cautions, less cautions. Definitely excited to see who's going to come on top on that one. I mean, I'm really just floored by how awesome this race was and how much, I'd say, determination and just grit that these guys showed tackling this racetrack here tonight. And, of course, next week, Thursday, if you want to keep track of the Thursday Super Cup Series, we will be back next Thursday at Martinsville. And, of course, everything gets crazy at Martinsville, like Brandon kind of alluded to, bumper to bumper. And we're going to be loving it for sure. Could we see some contact? I think that we're definitely busy looking back at some of the accidents there for sure. But like he also said, that ISCA known for clean and green racing. We go to a lot of tracks that if you go to the officials, there's caution after caution after caution, but you come to the ISCA and it's clean and green. So I expect the same thing here from these boys Thursday as well. So make sure you tune in, and we appreciate everybody out there tuning in for sure. Make sure you like and subscribe. And as Brandon also said, feel free to reach out to Kenny Powell or go on to the iRacing League directory and type in that iRacing Stock Car Association. We'd love to see you out here on the racetrack. And we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.